Hi, I'm Imogen. Today I'm in Newcastle. We've come up for the day just to see my boyfriend's parents. We've had a nice afternoon sat in the garden, and we've decided to come to Cowell's Garden Centre because it was only about a 15-minute drive away, and I love their online selection, so didn't want to miss seeing it in person. We've come quite near to closing time, so I'm going to have a zip round and see what they've got in stock and hopefully see some rare plants. So I thought I'd take you along with me. Okay, so here's a little overview of the greenhouse. There's big tables with plants and then rails above with plants hanging down, which is really nice to see. Starting at the first table is lots of Hoya. So they had these Hoya rosita, which have a lovely bit of sunstress, and they were $34.99. Then this was a Hoya gracilis with pretty splashy leaves, and this was $9.99 for a 12cm pot. And next to that is a Hoya australis, which was $12.99 and has these big green glossy leaves. So there were a few more types of Hoya too, but I then went over to this Sansevieria table where there were lots of different types. This is a little Sansevieria Mikado, which was $5.99. And then a bigger one for $12.99, and there was also an even bigger one at the back there. Then moving along the table, there was some big Sansevieria Moonshine, I think, and also some more sort of compact, leafier types. Back to the middle tables, hanging up with some Marble Queen Pothos. And then underneath are Calathea repens, also known as turtle vine. And next to that is Pelea depressa. There's also different colours of Fittonia or nerve plants. And then we have a Tradescantia cyanotis, which is a type of Tradescantia I've not come across before. That was a Tradescantia tiana, and both those were $7.99. And then we have some tricolour Tradescantia, including that one which was in bloom. Above those was a lemon lime maranta or Kerchoviana variegata, but that was in a hanging pot and it was $54.99. Just the hanging Tradescantia zebrina. I think I was pointing at it because it had really big leaves. But underneath are more plants, so fiddle-leaf fig, maybe cordyline it looked like. And on the next table was more pilia and these lovely watermelon decidia. These also had some sun stressing, which meant the leaves weren't solely green, and they were $12.99 and trading really nicely. And here's some more decidia. That is decidia jerry. And then moving along are some Philodendron Syngonium and lots of pothos. Philodendron micans was $34.99. There's neon pothos for $7.99. Lots of satin pothos too. I think the bright ones were Philodendron Malay Gold, and then some Philodendron Scandens at the end there. Okay, so I went back to the previous table, and we have some ferns and Hoya hanging above. That is Hoya curtisi, and I bought mine from Cowell's back in February. Next, that is Hoya linearis, and then perhaps Hoya wyetii, I think. I'm not 100% on my Hoya identification. And finally, hanging up some sort of Hoya carnosa. Okay, so I was taking a look at this large plant. It's an Escunanthus marmoratus. Not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but that was $159.99. And I don't think it's quite showing on camera how big and full and healthy this plant was. It's really lovely, but a bit big for me currently. Then I went over to more ferns. This was an Asplenium, and there were some other types too. This was a Hoya Bella for $99.99. Sorry, I've realised I'm moving to and fro a lot. And underneath were some Peperomia. This Peperomia is a silver shine, and that was $9.99. But there was a few other types, so Peperomia Hope, Watermelon Peperomia. And there were also some vegetable plants in this greenhouse, but I then moved over to the larger house plants. So what is there? Fiddly fig, palms, monstera, deliciosa, rubber plants, and other ficus. And this shelf was a bit hidden, but it had lots of reduced plants on, which isn't something on Cowell's online shop, so definitely worth a look at in person. There's this sad-looking Caladium, but they do regrow from buds, so not necessarily a dead plant. Some Sansevieria too. This big Ripsalis in a hanging pot. And I also saw this teeny pinky coloured Calathea, which I decided to get.
Can you hold that, please?
There was also this Calathea White Fusion, which was £40 rather than £80, so definitely a decent saving, and I didn't think it looked too bad. Some more larger plants, Monstera deliciosa especially. They were really healthy looking with some decent secondary fenestration. So going into the second houseplant area, these were labelled as Alocasia Hilo Beauty, but I've discovered that they're actually a type of Caladium. But either way, they had an amazing camouflage pattern on the leaves. So on that table, there was just some flamingo anthurium, so I skipped over that. And then basically just a mishmash of different plants, including Syngonium, Schefflera, more rubber plants, flamingo anthurium again. And I decided to get some more Elho pots because they had lots of different colours and sizes. And my boyfriend kindly carried them for me. But they also had some interesting ceramic pots too, like these face pastel coloured ones. And here's that lovely jungle of plants again, so some stingray alocasia at the start, the pretty pink syngoniums, probably some philodendrons as well. And then I got to this table, which had lots of plants in smaller pots on. So there were some reduced Dischidia at the top, hanging up, and then lots of the more common types of plants. But great if you're just starting with houseplants, as I doubt any would be sort of too expensive. Like the Syngonium berry was $4.99, and there's a darker Syngonium, and the Syngonium pixie was also $4.99. Again, getting distracted by things, this time string of hearts. And I think this counter had some of their bigger alocasia on, so this was an alocasia pink dragon. I think there's a regal shield and maybe a Yucatan princess too. But then back to the mini plants. There were some pitcher plants hanging above. And lots of Peperomia there. $3.99 for a little one, which isn't too bad. And then I got to this Begonia table, which was really stunning to see. So here's a nice overview shot, but you can see all of the different types and contrasting colours there. And I do come back to that, but clearly went to a different section first. There was a metal giraffe. Didn't think it was for sale. And here are the more uncommon plants. So a few variegated Syngonium, which were £130. Also a Silverian pothos and Adansonii. Then a full-priced white fusion. And some other Calathea. I have a Calathea crocata like this, but mine is in a much worse state at the moment. What else? Got some Colocasia. Then more Syngonium. Rhaphidophora tetrasperma, also known as mini monstera. Okay, so back to the begonia bit now. There was a lovely autumn ember begonia, which I saw in a recent Emma Greenwood video, so it was nice to see that in real life. And next to an iron cross, which had like hand-sized leaves for 20 quid. And here's that table again, and a closer view at some of those plants. You can see how brightly coloured some of those were. And there's a little part for air plants with various ways of displaying them. And then I came across a lone Philodendron Melanochrysum, which was £149.99. And there was also some Anthurium clarinervium, some Kakadama plants, as well as these interesting looking Kakadama style pots, but they had a protective layer inside, so not true Kakadama. There's a few different types inside those. And then different Bacchia, Alocasia poly, and a few bigger ones. And finally back to the first room, where there were cacti and succulents of all different varieties and sizes. I liked how there were lots of hanging plants throughout this first greenhouse. Obviously it's good for Cowell's to get more plants in, but it also meant for me as a customer there was plants wherever I looked, and that's what I really want when plant shopping. So here's some more succulents, including a little pickle plant, which I've also got from Cowell's online shop. And yeah, that is a very speedy walk through Cowell's garden centre houseplant sections.
I have just finished up at Cowell's and I've bought 2 plants. So firstly, this little Calathea rosoptica illustrious probably. I couldn't resist this. It was actually in the sort of bargain corner. So rather than £3.99, it was half price, so just shy of £2. It's only got 3 leaves, but I reckon I can resurrect this because I can never resist a challenge. I also bought a load of pots. So I really like these LHO standard ones in white and black. I like using these in my IKEA greenhouse cabinet, and the garden centres near me never seem to have the black and white ones in stock, but Cowell's had loads, so I got a load of those. And finally, on the way out, I couldn't resist getting a Hoya because they had the most beautiful selection. So I got this Hoya gracilis. It was £10 and has loads of growth on it, and the leaves are beautiful, bright green with silver splashing on. It's a 12cm pot, so it'll actually fit in one of the pots that I've just bought. There, so I need to now find a place for this. So thanks for coming along with me. I hope you enjoyed it, and I am so impressed with this garden centre. I'm definitely going to try and come back when things open up a bit more, because I saw loads of amazing things and really want to get them. So actually it was probably quite good that we didn't have long to spend here, because I would have come out with way more. As always, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you on Friday for another planty video. Bye!